Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. We are back with another episode. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, it comes from our Facebook page and it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Please post my story as unknown. I have not slept in 3 days. I am a South African man and I do own some trucks as well as I joined a franchise. I have a couple of bakkies that do courier and I'm someone that is enjoying life, but at night I can't sleep. Today I want to tell you the truth. If you want to know why my money never runs out, you need to listen to what I did in Mozambique, and this is where I am right now. It was back in 2018. I was just a ghost of a man. I was living in a flat in Rosettenville in Johannesburg. I was sharing a kitchen with 4 other guys. I had one old truck. It was a 2005 model that was constantly breaking down. I owned the banks. It even reached a point where I was being looked for by people that sold me diesel. They are those guys that can supply you with mobile diesel. So I was always broke, always borrowing from everyone. So those guys, they were looking for me. There was even one guy, I think he has since passed away. He was staying somewhere in Bratz. He even helped me one day when my trailer broke down and we needed tires. So he fixed a couple of tires, about 10 of them. And then unfortunately, I could not pay that guy back. I was owing everyone, and I even was owing my drivers. I was 3 million in debt, and every time my phone rang, it was a debt collector or a lawyer that had been sent to collect the debt. I was desperate. That was when I got a call for a special load. It was a Zamazama load. It was an illegal chrome ore that was being moved from an abandoned mine. So I'll just change the places and I'll say that it was near Barberton. They needed someone who was not going to ask questions and whose truck was not even registered. I took the job. I drove that truck myself because I could not afford a driver. On the way back to Josie, the brakes, they failed. I almost went a cliff and I prayed to God, and I had not spoken to God in a couple of years. So that night, sitting by my broken truck in the truck, that was when a man appeared and he told me that he was a mechanic. They had seen my truck and they were asking if they would be able to fix my truck for a price. And I said that I did not have money, but I told them that I was going to get paid after delivering the load. And I was scared that if one police cop would just come by and ask what kind of a load I had, it was going to be trouble for me. So I told them that if they could fix the truck, we could drive together, and once I get paid, then they will get also their money. So this man, as we were talking, he told me that he came from Mozambique and regularly he goes there to be strengthened. He told me that he had a charm. What this charm would do is that if there was a truck or even a car that would have broken down, this charm that was like a tokoloshi will tell him that at such a place there is a truck that has broken down, go and fix it. That person will give you money. So I asked him and I said, if this charm of yours is real, how did you know that I have money? Because I don't have money with me right now. So was your charm wrong? He looked at me and he said, Mfet, you are fighting a spiritual war with physical tools. I know that you are moving this illegal stuff, but I want you to tell you that my charm is what has brought me to you, for it has told me that I am supposed to help you. If you need to go to Mozambique, there is a man there in a village in XAI who can, and he will help me so that I can become rich in a very short period of time. But he said that this man, we will go past a village in XAI and then he was going to assist me. So brother, I went and I delivered that illegal load it was not enough to pay the people that I was owing. I took the money and then I drove to Mozambique. The money that I got, it was 20K, and I had even borrowed the fuel that I had used to go and collect that load and to deliver. The guy that I was owing money for the fuel, he was calling me, and I switched on my phone. This man that I had met, he told me that he had a family. We were supposed to go to a place that is called Akonhoek. So we went there to see his family. We stayed for a couple of days when we were in Akonhoek, and then that was when we started driving towards Komati Port, and then we got into Mozambique. Arriving in Mozambique, it was very different. And by the way, when we went into Mozambique, it was me and him. We were now using his car. My car that we had, we left it in Akonhoek. We had the money. My brother, we did all that he told me that we were going to do, but we drove into the bushes, into a place where there was no even cell phone signal, and the place, it was so scary. The trees, they were so big. I still remember that we passed through this other forest. It was in broad daylight, but when we were driving in that forest, it was as if it was already night time. That was when we met an old man, and he invited us in. He was the one that was going to assist me. So since it was late, he said that on that night I was only going to be bathed using some water from the graves that he had taken, because already he knew his Togology had already told him that there was someone that was going to come to his shrine, and he was supposed to assist such a man when that person was going to come. And I said, oh, this means that I have been selected by his ancestors. He said, indeed, yes, you have been selected by my ancestors. So, my bro, that was when we waited for the next morning to come. After that, I was then assisted. He asked me for what I wanted, and I told him that I wanted to grow big in the business. I wanted to have a lot of contracts. I was sick and tired of owing everyone. Like I was owing the whole of South Africa, and I did not even know what else to do. I was then taken to a secluded beach. This was in Berlin. When we went there, it was late at night, and we did not go there alone. We had to wait for a couple of people that were going to come that also wanted to be assisted by that same traditional healer. He said that if he was going to take me, only me and that man that had brought me to Mozambique, it was going to be very expensive for me. So he said, we are going to wait until we would have found other people. He told me that there were other people that were even coming from as far as Eswatini that were going to come to do money rituals. Some of them, they wanted to retrieve their livestock that had been stolen, and they just wanted to make those thieves to come back to them so that they can tell them that it was them that had been stealing their livestock. We waited. When the day arrived, that was when we were taken to that beach in Bilen. So it was around 2 a.m. when we got there. It was so scary. The Indian Ocean was so scary, looking at the vast ocean in front of us. We were told to strip ourselves naked. We even had a couple of Xhosa slay queens, and I was like, oh my God, South Africa, you are finished. These girls, they were very beautiful. They were also there. They were doing a ritual so that they can be able to get rich guys when they go to the groove. We were told to strip naked and then to walk into the water until you felt like the water is grabbing you. It was so scary. He told us not to be afraid because one of the was a girl. She was scared that we were going to drown. He said nothing like that is going to happen. I just want you to be cleansed by the spirits that stays in the water. He stood by the shore and he was chanting in a Mozambican language I could not understand. After that, we came out and we were shaking because we were so cold. I felt that even my bones, they were freezing. We were given a liquid to drink. It was sticky, it was salty, It tasted as if it was salt water that had been mixed with blood. As soon as I swallowed it, my brother, I felt much warm. Even the people that I was with, they all felt warm. We returned back to the small taxi that we had used to drive from his village going to the ocean. There were some blankets, and then we wrapped ourselves with the blankets and we were shaking. But as we were in that taxi, I started to see a vision. I saw the vision of a Tokoloshi, but it was a man. This Tokoloshi did not have a head, and it was sitting in a white truck. And then that was when I was told by that old man when we arrived in the village that I had been accepted by his ancestors, but I had to remember that his ancestors, they were not my ancestors. In order for them to bless that one that does not belong to them by blood, I was supposed to sacrifice my own blood. It will need my own bloodline so that the ancestors can keep on blessing me. And if they get angry with me, they will take everything that they would have given me. I was told that my son that I had with my baby mama was going to die, and I will never have a son to carry my name. And I was told that I was supposed to date a lot of women. If it happens that the woman that I would have slept with gets pregnant and she'll be carrying a male child, when she has a miscarriage, I am supposed to sleep with her before she heals. This I was told to do. When I got back to South Africa, the money came. The moment that we drove into South Africa, when we crossed back into South Africa through Libombo, the magic started instantly. Within a week, I found a bag. This bag, it had 200,000. It was in a parking lot. No owner, nothing. That was when I was able to fix my truck. Then it started moving as if it was a brand new truck. The way that it would climb the hills, you would think that it is being pushed by 1,000 Tokoloshis that were assisting it with its heavy load. My business was exploding. I was being called by Indians, and it was very surprising. I worked with an Indian who told me that he wanted me to move your salt and other groceries from Joburg to Durban, and I was going to get paid. Some of these loads, I would be paid cash on loading, and it does not happen. You usually get paid cash on offloading, but I was always getting paid cash on loading. Once my truck is at the loading point, I get paid, and I was not dealing with any scammy brokers. I was dealing directly with the Indians. This helped me to boost my company. I moved to Umhlanga. I bought expensive cars. So the rituals that I did in Mozambique had a second part. So I was told that I was supposed to bury a car. Yes, I was supposed to bury a car. That is going to shock most of you, because the chances are quite high that some of you here will never be able to buy such a car, let alone to hear that there is someone that has buried a brand new car. I bought a brand new Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. So I was told that to buy this car, I was supposed to buy a specific one. Even at the dealership, I told them that I wanted a white Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon with red interior. I did not even drive it for a week. I had to ask some guys who were going to help me, but these were Mozambicans that will never expose me. So these Mozambicans, they were the ones that assisted me. We took it to a dense protected forest area in KZN, deep in the Zululand region near Eshowe. I had a TLB that we got, and then we started digging. We did this, it was not even allowed, because the area where we were digging, like, it is even protected by the government. So we dug a very big hole. We waited until it was midnight. Then we drove the G-Wagon. As we drove towards that place, we paid a little bit of bribes along the way until we got to the place where we had dug that massive pit, and then we drove it in there. I buried a 4 million rand car completely underground. We covered it with soil, even planted a tree over it, so no one will ever find it. So this is my altar. So this is what they told me, that every time my trucks drive past that region on the way to Durban Port, the spirit inside that buried car wakes up. That is why my trucks, they never get hijacked. Hijackers have even told my drivers that when they tried to hijack my trucks near Tugela River, they saw a ghost that was standing on top of the truck. And when my driver told me this story, I just said, that's bull. There is nothing like that. Those people, they were just trying to take chances on you. But in my mind, I know that those thieves, indeed, they saw a ghost. It was not a ghost as such, but it is a tokoloshi. It is the one that was protecting my trucks from ever getting hijacked. So I am wealthy beyond even my own wildest dreams, but I am a prisoner. I live in a mansion, but sometimes I spend my nights in the guest house because my main bedroom, it gets scary and I see the ghost of my son. My wife's, all the women that I date, I call them my wives. There is a ceremony that I do the first time when I sleep with you. I don't tell you, but I'll be initiating you so that I can be able to use your womb. So as a girlfriend, it is difficult. I make you my wife without you even realizing that we have done a marriage covenant. My women, all of them, they have had 3 miscarriages. And each and every time when it is a healthy baby boy, then at exactly 12 weeks, then that miscarriage will happen. I have a daughter right now. She is 5 years old. She is the light of my life. I can never have a son to take over the fleet. Sometimes when I sit in my office, I even ask myself, was it worth it? But my brother, there was a time when I was owing everyone, and it was a very difficult period in my time. I'm writing this for young guys, especially those that are trying to be big businessmen. The least that you can do is to try to get into business when you are owing people. If you have any assets, before you start working on that business, just keep your job and stop that asset from moving, especially if it is a truck, until you are financially stable. Then you can start your business afresh. Not to do what I did. I was moving and I was always owing people, and each and every money that I was getting, I was using that money not to enjoy, but to cover up the expenses for the people that I was owing. And this made me to end up using these rituals, and I have no peace at all. It is not an easy thing as a man to be told that your seed will forever be forgotten. And when I die, I'll be turned into a tokology there in Mozambique. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our dear brother in the comment section. Yeah, ne.